What's going on, y'all? In this video, I want to talk about always do your best. Okay, so I'm gonna borrow some info from this book, The Four Agreements that I always talk about. I'm gonna read a little passage and then we'll get into it because I got a story for you too from work and everything. All right, this book in The Four Agreements, it says, under any circumstances, always do your best, no more and no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from moment to the next. From one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time. So your best will sometimes be high quality and other times it will not be so good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you are tired at night. Your best will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick, or sober as opposed to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you are feeling wonderful and happy or upset, angry, or jealous. In your everyday moods, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, from one day to another. Your best will also change over time. As you build a habit of the four new agreements, your best will become better than it used to be. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with the book and you don't know what the four agreements are, this one that I'm talking about right now is always do your best. But the other three is be impeccable with your word, don't take things personally, and don't make assumptions. Okay, so I want to give you kind of an idea of what I'm talking about here and how you can apply this to your life. So in North Carolina, we've been going through like this heat wave, right? This past few days, it's been like mid 90s, and we don't usually get that. We get hot in the summer, but it don't usually get that hot. And I work outside. I work at a restaurant too, right? So we got outside patio seating. It's been scorching. Okay, so the past 2 days, man, it's been hot as hell, right? And it takes a lot of mental focus, to stay on task, man. Don't let the heat. It's almost like you in a sauna the whole shift, right? And that can start to, bro, be out here feeling crazy, delirious almost, right? So yesterday I was at work, and for a little bit it started off kind of slow. Okay, we knew it was gonna pick up at some point, but it started off a little slow. So we started doing like cleaning duties. That's what we do, because sometimes we be walking circles, and it's like, yo, all right, let's clean something. And one of my coworkers, love her to death, she's a sweetheart. She was doing one of the cleaning duties, right? And it was slow. And I noticed she kind of got wrapped up in talking to a guest, right? I do this all the time myself too. And I'm not like blaming or judging her or anything like that. But she was talking to a guest, and the task she was doing, it was like refilling salt and pepper shakers, right? And so she was sitting down, having conversation with them. And the restaurant started to pick up a little bit, right? And I'm like, damn, I'm like watching her as I'm kind of doing my laps, filling up coffee, filling up water. I'm like, damn, she's still sitting down. She's still having a conversation. Like, there is no sense of urgency here, right? And I felt that kind of hit me in a way. Like, yo, let's recognize that it's starting to pick up a little bit. Come on, let's kick it into gear. And it was funny how this happened, because eventually I noticed how it was like hitting me, and I noticed how I was kind of projecting like, damn, if that was me, I would already be up and moving. That's one thing we got to realize too in our lives, bro. When we start projecting what we would do and how we would move into a situation, like onto somebody else, like they ain't moving like how I would move. That can start to drum up a lot of like discomfort and a lot of annoyance and aggravation within us, especially if you don't know what's happening, right? But fortunate enough for me, I was able to recognize that was happening. But I did start to notice how it was shifting my mood a little bit, right? Because she was tied up doing that. There's four of us. She tied up doing that. That means there's only three of us available to do everything, right? These other people, I don't know where they went. It felt like they disappeared for a minute. So I felt like I was doing more, right? I felt like I was running the food, taking the orders. Guests are asking me for things, and I'm kind of like, yo, where's my teammates at here, right? And it started to get to the point where I'm like, pfft. And I felt myself start to shift. I felt myself starting to feel like I wanted to mumble something. I'm like, man, here we go. I feel like I'm out here by myself, y'all. Where y'all at? And for a moment, I felt it kind of feel like maybe I was still doing my best, but I was maybe making assumptions, maybe taking things a little personally. You know what I mean? And but what's crazy is like, I didn't completely fall. I didn't completely like lose myself or anything, because as that restaurant started to pick up, I started to notice that annoyance that I was feeling, it started to subside, as your emotions do. You know what I mean? And I want you to remember that too. No matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're going through, it will go away. Like they say, this too shall pass if you let it. You know what I mean? So start to recognize that within your own head and your own life. Whatever you're going through, it'll pass, right? So the restaurant started to get busy as hell, just like we want. And it's hot as shit. Bro, we in here glistening. Sweat all over. It's just, ooh, we in there we running, man, right? And how this ties into always doing your best, man. It got to a point where the mental, that mental shit I was dealing with started to subside, and I'm in there running. We all in there running, right? But I'm in there like, yo, I'm in here running circles, like just, and I felt like just always do your best, man. No matter what you get hit with, always do your best, because it can sway. Your moments can sway from time to time, right? And if you let them get too big, if you let it start to spiral too much, it can prevent you from doing your best and giving your best effort. If you let your mind start to play tricks on you, right? And man, it was a busy ass day, and I got this type of energy, man, where I'm like, I think about Kobe Bryant sometimes, man. I remember Kobe Bryant said, man, like when you're a teammate, it's not just about like, I don't want to misquote what he said, but it's pretty much what he was saying, to kind of paraphrase. It's like, it's not just about knowing your teammates. It's like how to like know them on a personal level so that you can like uplift them in a certain way. Like if you know their strengths, know their weaknesses, you can like talk to them in a way like, hey man, don't let this get you down so much, bro. You a sharp dude, or like, you know what I mean? You can play into their psyche a little bit. And that's how I'd be walking around the restaurant. I'd be like, hey y'all, we almost there, y'all. Like when I look at the clock and I know we got 2 hours before we close, hey, we're on the back side of this, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We on the home stretch. We almost there, y'all. And I'm always kind of like walking around, like encouraging. I'm not a coach or anything. I mean, I am a coach in reality, but I'm not their coach. It's just, that's just how my energy is, right? Always do your best. Always give it max effort. And my coworkers are like that too. I'm not here to say that I'm the only one doing that. They'll be in there too. All right, y'all, drink your water. Stay hydrated, you know, because it's hot, man. And I'm sharing all this to just say that no matter what you're going through, no matter how your moments are swinging, just always give it your best. No more, no less. Okay, and I am going to share with you some ways of how to set yourself up to always give it your best, right? How I always set myself up so that my mindset is sharp, so that I can overcome mental obstacles, so that I can always give my best output. Man, it's doing things like getting good sleep. You know, these may sound basic, man. They may sound so simple, but most of us don't do it. Make sure you're getting good sleep, man, that your body is rested, that your mind is rested. You know what I mean? So that you can handle tasks. Like I said, life is always going to throw you some obstacles, right? But if you're running off of 3 hours of sleep, running off of 4 hours of sleep, which at times can happen. I'm not saying that like you don't have a busy life, or maybe you got kids and you're getting up in the middle of the night. It can happen, but for the majority of the time, you want to try and set yourself up to where you rest your mind and rest your body, rest your spirit, so you can perform. Another one of the things I do to set myself up so that I can always do my best is to get up. I get up 90 minutes before my shift, right? Before these shifts, man, these hot ass shifts, bro, I'm still getting up early. I'm sitting down, I meditated 10 minutes. I use the Insight timer. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but you should look into it. If you want to learn how to kind of take control of your mind, download the Insight timer. It's free. It's a meditation app. They got breath work. They got all types of things on there. But that's another thing I do. I sit down, I wake up 90 minutes, I get my coffee going. Before I drink my coffee, I sit and I meditate for 10 minutes, man. And I calm my mind. I've already made up my bed and everything. So I'm starting my day off with like clarity and not clutter, and with like mental strength and stuff like that, all right? So that when I get to the job, yeah, things might still hit me, but I have the strength and the resilience to push through that and to focus on the task. Think about NFL quarterbacks or NFL players in general, when they're going through like crazy life stuff, and how they have to set things aside to go out there and perform at a high level, to always do their best. When Tom Brady was going through that stuff with his ex, Gisele Bundchen or whatnot, and I think he won a Super Bowl that year. I think that is when he won the Super Bowl. Think about that. My man set aside all that outside noise. Whatever he does, whatever his habits are, he set aside all of it and gave it his best and went and brought home a chip. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm going with it, man. It's like, make sure that you that this is what works for me. All right, I'm saying make sure you do it, but this is what works for me. Maybe you can implement it in your life. Make sure you're getting good sleep. Make sure you wake up a little earlier before your job, so that you're not waking up at your job so that your mind is already clear. You're not going to work in a fog. You know, make sure that you set aside some time for yourself. Like whether it's like meditation, prayer, just kind of embracing stillness. A lot of us don't like to sit with our thoughts. Our thoughts are like the loudest thing in the room, but you got to learn how to sit with them things, man, so that your thoughts don't control your how you move. It's like you learn how to work with your thoughts. You learn how to dance with them and not let them dictate your actions all the time. These are very important. They sound easy and basic, but the more you practice it, man, the more you notice that it allows you to always show up and do your best, man. Show up at a high level. But yeah, so like I said, it's very key, man. Like I'm not gonna touch on all the agreements, but they all kind of tie in. It's key to be out here in this world, man, making sure that you are impeccable with your word. Watch how you speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, be mindful of your tongue, because the book also says you got the power to lift people up and tear people down. Make sure that you're not taking everything so personally. I've had to work on this too. You know, and don't make assumptions. Sometimes we'll see something going on and we'll create a whole story in our head around that. And then that story that you've created can zap your energy. That story can have you wrapped up in here thinking and trying to figure out why they did this, why they moving like that. And before you know it, now you all depleted. Be mindful of the stories you tell yourself. Not everything has to be personalized, man. All right, start meditating so that you can take control of your thoughts, so that you're not taking everything so damn personally. And make sure that you're always doing your best, man. Always give it your best, man. The day before, like I said, we've been in this heat wave, right? The day before that, man, I had a long ass day, bro. Outside again, and I worked all day. Then I had to go do PT for my shoulder, right? Because I dislocated my shoulder. It's about 2.5 months ago, right? So I'm trying to recover from that. Haven't been able to be in the gym yet, right? But still going to PT. I've been at the house kind of doing my own band work. And then I had a date after the PT. It was a long ass day of just mental game, right? And also to say, man, I felt very proud because when I went to PT, man, I asked them like, yo, can I do push-ups? Like, how close am I to getting to the gym where I can do like pushing motion, right? And she was like, you're very close. And I was like, can y'all check my form on these push-ups? Am I allowed to do them? And she had me do some push-ups, man, on like this bed where I kind of was doing like some plank type push-ups. And she kept lowering it. I was able to get lower. And then I finally was able to do them on the ground, right? So that was a big moment for me, man. That's what I'm talking about. Always do your best. Always show up for yourself. So anyways, I don't want to get off on a whole PT tangent, but man, it felt good to be able to do that, right? So accomplishing that allowed me to continue doing my best and step into the date that I had with this young lady, right? Because at one point, man, I was so, like, I wasn't going to cancel the date because she's fine too, right? And I ain't want to, like, I wasn't going to flake out on her. But, so then, you know, I have to make sure that my mental was sharp too, like for the date. And it's funny, I went on a date with her and I didn't know that they was going to have trivia at this spot. So we was in there kind of chilling and then trivia started. And that's another aspect of the mental game. So we started playing trivia, right? And so ultimately the date was a good time too. But that's all I'm saying, man. Just continue to do your best. Continue to have a positive way of thinking. And it's not going to always be easy. It's not going to always be easy, man. There's going to be aspects of life that are going to knock you off your square, that are going to challenge you. Just do your best, man. No more, no less. There is no such thing as perfection. I don't care what nobody told you. It doesn't exist. Just give it your best, okay? You know what your best is. You know if you're in the gym, or say, let's say, for example, you know you're in the gym and you're trying to hit 12 reps, right? And you stopping at like 9, knowing you got 3 more in you. That's not your best. Now, granted, sometimes you want to leave some reps in the tank. Sometimes that does happen, you know, depending on what you're working on. But we ain't talking about that. I'm talking about when you know you're not going as hard as you can go. I'm not saying kill yourself. Excuse my language. I'm not saying, I don't mean in that sense. I'm not saying like destroy yourself, like overexert yourself to the point where you're useless. I'm not saying do it to that point. And you might even be like, how do I know when I'm giving it my best? What does that even look like? You'll know because it feels like it's in alignment. You'll know when you say to yourself, I did that. I put my mind to something and I got it done. I did what I said I was going to do. That's doing your best too. Following through. Keeping promises to yourself. This is doing your best too. It's building up that relationship that you have with yourself. This is what's going to build your discipline, build your confidence, build up that identity so that you know you can count on you. That's what it's about, man. It's not to say that you ain't never going to need a hand from somebody. You ain't never going to need some help from somebody. But a lot of us dudes are out here, man, not realizing that we possess a lot of power within ourselves. Women too. I know women are checking out my content too, so I don't want to leave y'all hanging either. We have a lot of power within ourselves. There is no such thing as a magic pill you can take that's going to change your life and make life so easy that the obstacles are going to stop coming. Nah, man, they're going to keep coming. That's why you got to sharpen this thing. Sharpen your physical vessel. And no matter what you're doing, always give it your best. Yo, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you know when I make more videos like this. If you enjoyed this video and you want to dive deeper into this type of content, not even this type of content, this type of understanding of yourself, then use the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me, all right? I help men with self-mastery and understanding how they operate so that they can operate in the way they want to operate and get off of autopilot, if that makes sense, all right? Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this video. Leave me some comments below, all right? Let me know if you enjoyed this. Check out this video here on the screen. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this one. And I'll see you on the next video, all right? Peace.